Hello and welcome to Geeks of the Round. This is your host, Matt Moore. Deanna Jackson is unable to be here today, so I'm going to run the hangout today. He is actually, his sister just went in labor, so that's good news. Everyone congratulate Deanna about soon becoming an uncle again. So that's awesome. Again, I'm your host, Matt Moore. We're talking about the Walking Dead discussion, episode 2, which is known as Strangers. We have a pretty decent panel here. I guess these guys are okay. Let's start with Knuckles. How are you doing, Knuckles? Use more than 3 words.
You know, you say it's a good thing that she's in labor, but, you know, in this kind of world with the zombies and the walkers and now the cannibals, I disagree.
So you think that that the world's just too messed up with this zombie thing going on?
Yeah,
shouldn't be bringing kids into it?
I mean, it's just a bad timing, you know.
Well, I don't know.
At least wait. She should have at least waited until they got to Washington.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. And right next to him, we have the ghost of Todd Grundle. How you doing, Todd?
Feck. I forgot to put up the lower third as well, so I don't have anything witty down there.
Why are you pointing at your dick?
Because I don't have anything witty down there.
Oh, okay.
I certainly did something witty while pointing out that I forgot to do my witty.
Okay. And next we have Isaiah. Isaiah Mullins. How you doing, Isaiah?
I'm doing great. And yes, folks, the logic is still going.
No, that's not a good thing.
Yes, it is. That's a good thing. That's good. You know it's good.
And last but certainly least, wait, I said that wrong. I'm sorry. Charles, how you doing, Charles, the weed man?
Oh, I'm doing fine, you rat bastard.
He never shares.
Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't share his weed. All right, so let's get started. First off, first impressions of the episode. We'll go in reverse. What did you think, Charles?
Well, like I said before the hangout, for the most part, the episode was a bit slow. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just I thought the pacing was a little off. But the stuff that was actually happening, I didn't really have a problem with it. I mean, the stuff between Tara and Maggie, that didn't really bother me at all. Although there was a couple of moments where it was Tara, Maggie, and Glenn that had me going like, okay, what's going on here? But the ending, however, like right before the end credits, that was probably the only holy shit moment in the entire episode.
And we'll definitely talk about that a little later because that's kind of a big deal.
Yes, but I mean, in most shows, the holy shit moment usually only happens at the end of the episode. So yeah.
And I'm afraid to ask, but what did you think of it, Isaiah?
Okay, I'll keep it short and sweet, folks. It was okay. I could pretty much care less. I'm just being honest. It was okay.
I do apologize, but that's not an acceptable answer.
Okay, fine. You want to say that
here specifically to argue against you, and having a wishy-washy opinion does not make for good ammunition for him to argue against you.
That's the point. But again, I'm just saying, like, Bob was just, you know, and then I think his father Gabriel, I hate the most. His father Gabriel, whoever his name was, another black guy you shouldn't trust. Another black guy.
So you're saying you shouldn't trust the black preacher?
Exactly.
All right. How about you, Todd? What do you have to say to contradict that?
Unfortunately, I didn't get to listen to him, but I'm sure whatever he said was absolute fucking bullshit. And
he said, "Don't trust the black guy, the new preacher."
Well, I mean, I don't want to talk about that. There's people.
That's not complete bullshit, is it?
I mean, it's relative on don't trust him because what he did is we're getting into the spoiler territories. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's not trustworthy. Just like Carl said. Here's what he did. It doesn't necessarily mean he's a bad guy. It just means there's something.
No.
All right, and last, well, I guess not last because there's still me. But what do you think, Knuckles?
I liked the episode. Not a whole lot happened, but It wasn't boring. Wasn't nothing pissed me off in it.
That was actually kind of my opinion of it. Is that I enjoyed the episode. It wasn't fast paced by any stretch. There was almost no action. I think the most action was Daryl walking out with a string of squirrels.
There was action.
Yeah, not much. I mean, I guess there was the basement scene.
Yeah, it was okay. It was nice effects, but you know.
I don't know. I thought it was very tense all the way through. There was a repeated conversation, which when we get further from where we are, but I don't know. I disagree. I think that shit was.
I think the dog behind you disagrees as well.
Yeah, he does.
He's looking up at the camera.
He does that weird gopher thing, man. He's a creep.
He agrees has their logic.
But yeah, there was nothing that ended up pissing me off about it. The basement scene, I don't know, it didn't feel tense to me. It felt derived a little bit, but not awkwardly so.
Right. It's kind of, I mean, the special effects for those zombies in the water was like, it's okay. We kind of seen better, so it was kind of like, it's not bad. It's just I seen better.
Disagree again. I think it was a great throwback to the Walker in the hole, Walker in the well, whatever. And like this was like up in the ante of the Walker in the well part, and I don't know. I don't know. I thought all episode like anybody could go. I was on the edge of my seat. Maybe I'm just weird. Maybe
Yeah.
With that in mind, keeping that in mind, I was following that conclusion. I was realizing that this particular team has dealt with walkers so much that walkers, unless walkers are in extreme numbers, walkers just are not a thing. It's not something that is dangerous.
And that was the point of. Oh, sorry.
I mean, Tyrese can take on fucking a dozen of them at once. I mean, and he's done it twice.
I think that showed a lot in this episode. I think they really pointed that out a bunch with the look on everybody's face when they killed walkers. It was just.
It's like, this ain't nothing.
It's a casual thing at this point. Now, but here's the thing: is they were talking in the episode, and this is kind of where I'm going with this. The fact that humans are much more dangerous in this world than walkers are.
Right.
Do you have any thoughts on that, Charles? Because you're chewing.
Yeah. Thank you, Charles.
Should have presented him.
I called him Charles. All right.
I was just gonna say that on your subject about how walkers are completely casual, like they're not even really that much of a threat. Well, that pretty much confirmed it right at the beginning, where the group was walking down the highway, and they saw the walker coming, and Michonne decided, oh, don't worry, I got it, and she went to grab for her katana, but then she realized she didn't have it, so she grabbed the gun and beat the walker in the head with the butt of the gun, and she just walked it off like, oh, it was just nothing. Yeah.
Right.
But yes, you are right that in the current state of the show, it does feel like that the humans are far more dangerous than the walkers. It's because we actually have that with frickin' hunters.
Well, to be fair, it was actually the governor that actually showed them that, like, humans were actually more dangerous, because the governor pretty much destroyed their shit.
Wrong.
What?
Wrong. I disagree. The governor was to show the difference between the extremes and the morality. The governor was.
But we already saw it, though. Because,
who is right in this world? Is this logic right, or is Rick's Camp's logic right? This Hunter story is really what is touching on the humans are being more dangerous.
not intentionally, because we didn't get that. Again, as I'm saying, that the governor got a personal feeling from the governor, and plus, he had
Isaiah.
I'm not done yet. Let me finish. Thank you. Plus, the governor had. I'm not done yet. Thank you. Plus, he had a lot of Trojan horses attacks on the prison. So it actually tells you, like, humans are way smarter than the zombies, which is obvious. And plus, can the zombies do like a sneak attack or like a Trojan sneak attack? Maybe, but nothing like the governor is, and not like that prisoner who actually tried to kill Rick and the crew who escaped Rick's murder of the prison folks. So, yeah.
All right. Well, what I was going to say is that the governor he may have been a bad guy, that he actually did not like Rick and he wanted to take what Rick had. However, the governor had his own settlement of survivors, and they were pretty much living comfortable lives, pretty much.
And then a war happened because of a conflict,
Well,
right?
yeah.
Because of a conflict. That doesn't necessarily make him, like a dangerous. I mean, he is a dangerous human being, but he's not. But he's acting like a human would before this whole apocalypse happened.
But that's
And,
not.
and actually, that's actually a very good point. That is how countries act nowadays in this world. We have countries who you know what? I like what you have. I don't have it, so I'm going to invade it and take it over. That is a very country way of thinking, and that's what he was doing.
Yeah.
He
Plus,
he was basically being human. And another point I got to make is, the governor did not eat people.
he kept people alive in his basement,
They weren't alive. They were freaking heads chopped off of walker bodies.
but they were still alive. Thank you.
It's just a fucking weird eccentricity. Maybe he thinks the brains will be saved one day. Maybe he's just collecting them as souvenirs. What's wrong with that? Daryl had a necklace of ears, and everyone
That's
loved
different,
No,
though.
no, no, no. That's a good example. An even better example is how evil is Michonne. Michonne had 2 fucking walker pets.
it. Right.
Right.
You don't consider Michonne evil?
Well, she kind of is when you think about it, because she did take the people, like her people that she was close to, as used them as pets, and pretty much avoid the walkers. So that was kind of cool until we heard the real reason why she used them. It was like a punishment towards the zombies that she knew and herself. So it was like a mixed bag of a double-edged sword for herself. She's morally gray. She's just very gray. The governor, he's not gray at all. What he did was just downright evil tactics. If you didn't go with he says, he will kill you.
First off,
He will kill you.
First off, tactics are not inherently evil.
Really? Really? Really?
They're not.
Really? Okay, Charles. What happened to the people?
It's
No,
like
what happened to the military folks?
strategy evil. I mean,
What happened to the military folks? He shot them. He killed all of them.
yeah.
That was cold.
He was basically acting like a dictator.
Right, I was just going to
Thank
say
you.
dictatorship. Charles and I are 1,000% on the same page on this
Yeah,
one.
basically he was acting as a dictator of a country in the way that dictators of countries in nowadays actually act. Like if Kim Jong-un had the
Too fat.
to get away with it, he'd be pulling this kind of shit.
Yeah, but he's.
But you know what? Was he giving his people, look, Woodbury was hooked up. He was doing the right thing for that community. And
What it cost though?
America does that every day. America goes out there and does malicious acts that are for the benefit of our society. So,
yeah, but there's always another.
and that's all that was.
But there's always another. You always have, if you're doing something good for your people, there's always gonna be something that you have to take away, like your humanity. He has to take away his humanity so much more. He had no humanity after the Woodbury was destroyed, so he had no sense of moral ground. He just said, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna take over, no matter what." So he
Okay,
didn't.
so the panel vote so far is 3-1.
Which is nothing
Knuckles,
new.
where do you fall on this?
Not on Isaiah's side.
That's nothing new.
Okay, so it's 4-1.
I'm still right though, so I don't care.
In other words, Knuckles wasn't really paying attention, and he just disagrees with Isaiah on premise.
Yeah, obviously.
No, I was paying attention.
Oh.
I don't think tactics are evil.
It's how you portray them as evil.
Oh my God. You know what? Whatever.
So let's move on. Let's move on, considering this particular topic doesn't really specifically have to do with this episode. But it does bring to light the counter. You end up having the Terminus people, and the Terminus people are now being known as the Hunters, and they're not basically trying to help out groups.
But they were already doing that beforehand. They was already eating up people before. So what's the difference between being a hunter and them being Terminus? They was just doing the same things, but now they have no home. So what's the big difference?
It's just a different origin story for the Hunters in the comic, but we're getting, in my opinion, one of the best stories right now.
Well, I kind of wish they would make the characters more. I mean, in the Hunter standpoint, like I get why Terminus was there, and I kind of wish they could expand a little bit more, not too much, but a little bit, and not destroyed it. And get like, okay, trying to rebuild it and pretty much get revenge on Rick's crew. But now they're hunters automatically. It's like, that was quick. Okay, whatever. I mean,
Yeah, they did regroup rather quickly.
right, and also, sorry to interrupt you, Matt, but since we know who the hunters are, it's like they're not really shocking to us, like the viewers. I mean, I wish it was kept in mystery who they was, but I'm just saying, it's just me. I'm acting too much, I know.
All right, we do have some Q&A. Antonio Cunningham, Andy Babak, and Lou Rod 76. Antonio, basically talking about the basement scene, he says, who would jump in the water if you can't see the bottom? I wouldn't trust that one bit. Would you do that? Because if we were the Wizard of Oz crew, Charles, you would be the Cowardly Lion. Would you jump in the water without being able to see the bottom?
Thanks for putting me on the spot, Matt.
That means yes.
Can I just say, sorry, Charles, but you were still kind of putting your thoughts together there. I thought it was weird they didn't just shoot them from up high and then go in.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could make spears too.
Bullets can, the firing of guns can attract more walkers. So
They're in an enclosed area.
Right. They could make spears too. Like, oh, we can make spears. Okay. Stab.
No, and it's just as the Cowardly Lion. Well, if you remember from Wizard of Oz, he eventually got build up all kinds of courage. So yeah, fuck yeah, I'd jump in that shit.
Oh my god.
But in all seriousness, for Antonio Cunningham's question, I mean, I can see his point saying like if you can't see the bottom of the water and you don't know how deep it is, well, yeah, I can see that. So how about you go rummaging around the entire room to look for a plank of wood and then throw it down the hole to see if you can touch the floor.
You do understand that there were walkers in it, right? So
Right.
you know exactly how deep it is because they're walking in it?
Well, yeah, there's that too. I realize I made myself look like an idiot, so shut up and
That's
stop
nothing
making
new.
fun of me.
That's nothing new.
And specifically for Andy, Andy just wants me to say wishy-washy, so I did.
I don't understand why, but
I don't either.
yeah.
I don't either.
Antonio also believes that this episode was a bit slow, was too slow. I mean, I agree it was slow. I don't think it was too slow, though.
I think we all pretty much agreed with that.
Yeah.
Except for God.
Well, I mean, the pacing was slow, but I mean, it was fine. I mean, the only way pacing would really bother me is that if, like, they would give us the initial plan of the episode at the beginning, then they'd give us all this filler bull crap, and then they wouldn't continue on with the story until there's like 10 minutes left in the episode. That's probably when I would have a problem with pacing.
Well, the pacing, it was slow, but again, I agree with what you guys said. And also, to add on more with your topic, add on to your point, it actually had more time to actually explore people, how they feel, how they was going through after Terminus, and we got some more backstory. Minus that stupid church guy. I'm not gonna talk about him because he's just useless. But we got really interesting character moments.
That backstory's though, like, I want to say that a lot when Charles said the word filler. I wanted to argue, but they actually repeated the same conversation with Daryl and Carol, two separate scenes, and yeah, so there was a little bit of filler. And like I said last week, I think the conversation between Rick and Tara should have and would have already happened inside of that boxcar before they could look how it went over in 3 words anyway. So
It was kind of pointless.
but still, I still enjoyed seeing that moment, and it was still all right. Oh, I just remember something. Remind me when we get the wild speculations. I got something to say about Tara. I got a big one.
Okay.
Speaking of Tara, you noticed. I mean, that was the first conversation Rick had with her, but he never asked her the 3 questions.
Oh, that's true. That's
I
true.
trust her because he went through Terminus with her, and that's why I got a little kick out of that scene because I thought it was cool that he accepted her so easily.
We got 3 questions from we asked the pastor like about the whole three rules. So it was kind of weird, but also made sense though.
Yeah, and really the pastor failed that particular quiz completely and totally.
Failed?
because
He just flunked.
the worst possible answers that you can give. Are you armed? I'm sorry, but in this world you need to be armed.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are, what you are. You need to be armed.
Always.
But one thing that I wanted to say about Gabriel is that the stuff that like how they were suspicious of him, like and then he said that he has committed sins. He commits sins every day, but he only confesses his sins to God. It's just, and then of course there was that stuff on the outside of the church, like "You will burn for this," etched into the wood, and then there was the scratches looking like somebody was trying to get in with a knife. I am very interested to see where they're going to go with Gabriel. To be honest, the thing I'm rooting for, and this is a little bit of speculation, is that he's going to be a creeper. He's going to be a creeper priest. And
What do you mean a creeper priest?
Yeah, I think that's what he's going to. I think that's what he's going to be.
Sorry, are you saying that he's going to turn Catholic? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying that he's
white man. Gotta be Catholic.
So wait, Charles. He's gonna rename himself Charles and call himself Molester. Charles the Molester.
What?
So, in any case.
Okay, let's move on. Yeah, let's move on.
Next question that we have is: do we think the Hunters are going to stick around a little while? The question was, how many episodes will the Hunters be on? Over or under 3? I think they're going to be here for the entire season, if not a little more.
I hope not. I really hope not.
I mean, I would say at least through the half season.
Yeah, half.
Yeah, I would say the first half. That's what I would say. They're all, like right before the mid-season finale. That's when the Hunters are going to catch up to the rest of the group, and Rick and Gareth are probably going to have a huge battle, and he's probably going to kill Gareth. And also to answer the next Q&A, I gotta say what Antonio Cunningham said.
No, we're holding off on that question.
Yeah, we're holding off.
All right.
People with their hands raised, guy. Come on, Matt Moore. Okay. Come on. Listen, you're so unprofessional, Charles.
Yeah, Charles.
Pay attention to things.
Yeah.
On this subject, what the fuck was the question now that Charles derailed before everybody had a turn? So unprofessional. Look at his face, everybody.
Is whether or not the Hunters are going to stick around very long.
Okay, over or under 3? I believe
so,
under 3. I believe now that they've been declared the Hunters, this is the first. My hope, next episode, that storyline comes to an end, because that's how it is in the comics. It's very fast, but to me, Isaiah says it's, I hate the Hunters plot. Fuck Isaiah and his bullshit logic.
You wish you could fucking.
Quiet. The Hunters plot was fucking excellent. It was one of the best stories in the book, and they are doing it exactly as it was done, except they're replacing Dale, who's gone, with Bob. I think hopefully it's done next episode, but I think one more after that. So that makes it exactly 3.
Was it?
And I'm going to say under, and I guess we might as well talk about it now. This is part of my wild speculation. So Antonio was asking in the Q&A, did Bob get bit? And that's what I was thinking too. That's why he was crying.
Yeah, I thought that too. Yeah, I thought he was bit.
He was.
And so what I'm thinking is that what's going to happen with the Hunters is they're going to get sick from eating Bob.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But can I ask this since we're there? Because without saying too much, that doesn't necessarily work in this version of The Walking Dead because they already know that that group doesn't know that they're infected. Just Rick knows because they were in the CDC. So they could very well, the Hunters could very well freak out and feel poisoned. But it wouldn't actually poison them. I wouldn't think. They've already got the gene.
Right, and also I hope not to interrupt anyone else. Todd just brought up the CDC, which I'll get into later on. But yeah, if you eat people who are actually been bitten, it's not gonna make no damn difference. You're still gonna turn into those damn things. So,
Well, in that case, why couldn't you literally? Why wouldn't the Hunters literally just get? Oh, there's a zombie body right there. Let's cook it up and eat it.
What, are they vultures?
I think they might know, but for a different reason, because they kept Bob alive for a reason, and I think that's because they knew he would turn if killed him.
Right.
Well, it's just at this point in the show, I'm pretty much, and because how much time has passed since the first episode? Like, isn't it like 2 years that this apocalypse has been going on?
Since the very first episode, about a year and a half.
Yeah.
About a year and a half. Okay, well, it's just I would assume by this time in the setting of this particular episode, I would assume that pretty much everybody knows that they turn regardless of being bitten or not.
Right, but you wouldn't know if you get sick by eating it. So they may have just never eaten a bit body because now that meat is tainted. You know what I mean?
Right. Also, wouldn't it be kind of sloppy on their part, like not check the body before they actually start cutting into it? You see black and all, but you can still see bites. You can still see the white meat. Racist bastards.
Now, completely skipping Father Gabriel because I don't think any of us give a fuck about Father Gabriel.
Right, I don't care.
I want to talk about Carol. In this, Rick had a conversation with Carol that I think was very, very serious, very, very cool, and that was him acknowledging to Carol that he kicked her the fuck out, and that it was Carol that saved their hide, and he asked her straight out, "Can we join you?" Not the other way around, but can we join you? Do you think Rick is going to end up sharing leadership or even abdicating leadership to Carol?
That'd be cool if it was.
Give it to her. I think, because that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about tonight. I think that scene literally meant now Carol is leader because he's asking to join her on the road. People may look to Rick, but I think that was him giving over the.
I would have to say that I agree with Todd on that because Rick knows how to survive in this world, but he doesn't really know everything. I mean, because he was in the prison for so long with everybody else. I mean, I don't really want to say that he went soft, but I would think that because Carol was out in the wilderness on her own for so long and was able to survive, she's more experienced. She would be able to keep everyone alive. However, with Rick, some people might end up getting killed.
And that's just it. Is Carol has worked with she has been out there all by herself for a period of time. She's been out there as a small group, a couple times now with Tyrese, and then she also did it. With Tyrese, I was getting her mixed up with Andrea. Don't mind me. And then she's also worked with a very large group, and she is effective no matter what situation you place her under.
Right, she'll go Rambo in a heartbeat.
But see, I don't believe she's more effective. Sorry, Doc. I don't believe she's more effective than Rick, though, because it's easier, I think, to survive alone, and Rick has been surviving a group at large for the most part.
That's
and
hard
this
to do.
is the largest group we've had since, well, I mean, it was about this size in the prison, but that was a while ago now.
I wouldn't say that Rick was giving it up leadership to Carol, just because he didn't really hesitate in speaking for the group when he said, "Hey, we're in."
Mm.
And they were talking about going to Washington.
You know, so they can both share good qualities of one another. Like she knows how to work by herself and also learn new tactics. While Rick knows how to work with large groups and tactics within the large groups. So it's gonna be like a shared type of leadership.
I'd say it was definitely an apology, and you have just about as much say as I do at this point.
Yeah, but it pretty much like it was right too, Carol. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Sorry.
Wow, really, Charles? Really?
Hey, somebody had to say it.
Wow.
Nobody had to say it.
Right.
Antonio, I think he's referring to the conversation with Carol. Antonio said that actually made Rick seem like a weakling to him.
Like a what?
A weakling.
A weakling.
Rick
looked like a pussy.
I wouldn't say call him a pussy, no.
I don't think so.
That's called manning up, really.
Yeah, I have to agree. Is facing up to your mistakes and then owning up to them, if it even really was a mistake, because you could argue that kicking her out was what you needed to do at the time, but being able to admit, you know what, like, I kicked you out and you saved us. You still saved us. I mean, that does take a nice little pair of brass balls.
Right.
Actually, to admit that out loud.
Let me ask you guys what you think of this question. Lou Rod 76 said wild speculation Rick will lose his hand to the Hunter leader, and I'm going to disagree just because based on he was supposed to lose his hand to the governor and they didn't do it for a very specific reason. But
Right.
what do you guys think?
I hope they don't.
I hope they don't either. Because he's.
I hate that in the comic. It's one of my least favorite things is that he's missing a hand, and I don't want it in the show.
Yeah, and plus, it doesn't. Well, with the governor, he was cool and badass. The Hunter leader, it just to me, he looks like a puss kicks. Like, really, dude? You look like a boy band. Go somewhere with that bullshit. Go somewhere.
I have to agree. I'm having a hard time finding Gareth or Jareth or whatever his fucking name is, or Gabriel or I don't know. I'm having a hard time finding him to be scary.
Right.
I almost want to disagree. I don't want to say scary, but I always saw him as everybody else does as a hipster. This episode, his little talk by the fire, I said, all right, I can see a menace in him. You know, there's a menace. It's sort of the cold calculation of these people is what they're going for. But he won't be here long, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but and also to be end this very quick with the Hunters, they're pretty much again. Todd's gonna be mad at me, but I'm gonna say it anyways. The Hunters in general are just pussy groups. Yes, they can hide and hunt, but come on now. If you face Rick and his crew head on, you're gonna die regardless. So you're just a pussy group. Governor did.
There's 5 hunters there?
I think, yeah. And also that one guy who Tyrese did not kill.
Yeah, there's going to be a conversation about that.
Tyrese did not kill that guy. He was standing at the fire.
By the way, I called it. I said that last week.
Yeah, Tyrese, you're a puss cakes, dude. You're such a puss cakes.
And that's probably how they got onto the trail of them.
Maybe.
And let's not let this conversation end without a discussion of another trail that hasn't been picked up on yet. And another trail that has been picked up on. Huh.
Are we talking about the tier plot, or are we talking about the other plot?
No, I'm talking about that. It's funny. They didn't pick up on the Morgan trail, but they did pick. There's a whole other trail that they found, which was Beth.
Yeah, which is confusing a little bit.
Well, that's just it. Is they were chasing after the car because they recognized because Daryl recognized the car.
I don't know how, because Beth was picking up by not a car, but like a SUV or something like that, a black SUV.
That's the car that picked her up.
Yeah.
I saw it all over the internet.
I gotta look into that because I don't remember it.
So because you don't remember it, you just assume that he's wrong?
Besides that, yeah, but I mean, it's just like, hey, that's a car. That one was a bigger vehicle. Like, no, and also it had no cross on it either. Because Beth was like actually saying like, "Oh, help me!" like a milk in a box situation. Like, help me! We saw no cross. So,
Do you guys think the people that kidnapped Beth are related in any way to the Hunters?
No.
Negative. So it's gonna be really interesting, man, because we've got these two. If the Hunter plot, and I hope to God it does, I hope it goes exactly as it goes, because it's a very rewarding storyline in my opinion, and I've been waiting for it. It's one of the reasons why I watched this show. I've been waiting for this for 5 seasons now. So I hope.
Does that mean once it's over, you're gonna stop watching?
Exactly.
No, because it just gets so much better and better.
After the Hunters plot, yes, it gets better and better. And
it gets better and better, but still, I think the Hunters is one of the most. It's the awesomest to me. But anyway, I forgot. Oh, it's very satisfying, and we assume Beth's ending will be satisfying too. But will they really give us 2 satisfying endings, or are they gonna change the Hunter ending? And make Beth's ending satisfying, or are we losing Beth because we're having too much good coming from this Hunter plot?
I don't know.
Good feelings are to come, and so.
Antonio Cunningham wanted to say to Isaiah that there's wisdom in taking out people one by one if you can't take them head on. They may be evil, but that doesn't make them stupid.
True, but it's happened before times. Like Governor picked them off one by one, but they still pretty much came together. And it came because again, Rick's group are more badass than the Hunters because they had a Terminus, they had this, but they was never on the road for a long period of time. With meaning boatload of walkers, boatload of enemies, and also the Governor made it more deadlier, made it more brutal. That battle with the governor made it more smarter. So the Hunters plot doesn't mean jack squat. I mean not the Hunters doesn't mean jack squat to them. Like they're still gonna die. Like we're still gonna kill you. And also you spell my name wrong, but that's okay. That is okay.
But you don't know that for sure because
apparently it's not okay because you brought it up.
Well, I had to bring it up. So shut up, Charles.
All right. Let me see. Do we have anything else we want to talk about? First, we have Father Gabriel. We kind of,
don't give a
even
fuck.
if you haven't read the spoilers, we kind of know what's going on with Father Gabriel because the scratching outside the church kind of clues you in on what's going on.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of obvious to anyone who watched that just means that like he wouldn't let them inside when they needed help.
Yeah, basically, he's not
That's pretty much the end of that mystery.
Yeah, he's not that interesting either. He's a very boring character.
he's not a boring character.
Yes,
So you're wrong again. Because if they go along the lines, he's a coward.
He is.
Get redemption. He does build up as a character, but then he also then he goes even more nutty. Yes, it does. I don't want to say much.
But I did like an actor though. The
There's
actor
no
was cool.
interest in that character. There's so much that comes from that character, or could come, depending on how they play it.
We'll have to wait and see. And also, should we actually talk about the Cure plot? I mean, really? Because remember, I have to go when Todd said about the CDC. It's like, hey, thank you, Todd, for thinking about the CDC because we know what we need to know. Because your Cure thing is complete BS. Like, dude, really?
No,
We don't know that. We don't know that at all.
Really?
It's not. Listen, and that's just something I did want to talk about. I'm glad you brought that up because I hear Matt was trying to close us up, and that plot is friggin' awesome because we never do this in the comics for certain reasons, and it's very interesting to see because this group is not the group that would go on a save the world adventure in the comics and in the show so far. As they've led up. So when they had that dinner and when Abraham started his toast, then it was a nice toast, and then he changed it. And, at first I felt like he was being a politician and it was greasy. But as he went along and I was thinking, man, how is this group going to go on a save the world adventure? But he friggin' sold me with that speech he did, and I totally believe it. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens now, especially knowing what you know, Isaiah, which was what you were trying to say before, but don't say.
I'm saying so, you know.
But you don't know that that's the case, and whatever it is, that's super interesting. This group has no business going off to save the world. Now they're going to be like on this mission, and
on the subject of the Cure plot, I gotta say that the way that Eugene explained how this cure would work.
First off, it's not a cure.
Whatever they plan on doing.
Because
it's not a cure.
Well, they claim it as a cure, but it's not a cure like you guys said. It's like a vaccine that he always said.
Yeah.
Like
I think the way he explained it, I think he said the way he basically said fight fire with fire. So basically, whoever he worked for at DC, they created this virus that attacks other viruses. And so what this virus would do is it would latch on to the walkers and it would kill the virus that's keeping the walkers alive. Now, scientifically speaking, I mean, well, first off, I don't really know much when it comes to working with viruses, but I don't know if I guess it's possible for viruses to be able to attack other viruses.
It's possible.
I'm pretty sure it is, but I mean, I'm not like a viral doctor or anything like that. But
I thought I see a degree on your wall.
What now?
It's a degree of ponies. Yes, a degree of ponies.
But it's just I know they're not going to do this in the show where they're going to actually finally send out this virus to kill all the other walkers. But I will say this now: it would be very cool to see them press a big red button that would disperse this virus into the air. It would, and then you would start to see the walkers slowly just keel over one by one. It would be very cool to see that, but it will not happen. I guarantee it.
Well,
how I understood it to be is it would not end up killing all the fucking zombies. What it would do is it would make it to where when you die, you don't become a zombie. That way, because remember, zombies are rotting more and more. They're dying off too.
Yeah.
Even if they're not killed by a human, they are dying off too because their skin is rotting off.
Yeah, it's just nature.
As is their muscle. So the zombies are dying off. This makes it to where the humans survive and the zombies die off. At least that's how I kind of put it together in my head.
Right. But to end this whole thing off is like.
I guess just makes it so that there aren't going to be any newer zombies.
Exactly.
Right. But I'm surprised Rick did not bring up the CDC moment. Like, hey, we've been to the CDC and they said there was no way this could be stopped. Again, that's just me saying that detail. Like, hey, about CDC. But oh well. But if they're gonna pull like a 28 weeks later moment, like you have to let them starve out, then that makes more perfect sense. Because okay, make them starve out because they can't live forever.
Well, you see, because of that CDC logic is why I don't think it's a virus. I think I thought, unless you guys heard him say otherwise, I thought Eugene was saying like they're gonna send out maybe some bombs, non-nuclear bombs, and they have a few missiles aimed strategically that will fight fire and wipe out huge areas of humans and zombies. But then there would be places where pockets where people would be safe, and then after done, they would have a easier situation to manage.
But it just doesn't make. I mean, it's just me saying this. It doesn't make enough sense. Like, okay, so you got bombs, but where's the money getting from? Where's the raw materials? Where's everything else behind it? Like again, like you guys talk about the governor, he was already set up because he had built in work and everything else.
From the government before, like already set up a fail-safe that where he just said you push a button.
Yeah, but again.
Lou Rod says, sorry, but Eugene sounds full of shit when he speaks, and he's shocked that Rick hasn't picked up on that yet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this right now. It's just what Lou Rod 76 said. At first, when I first met Eugene and he started talking about a cure, I'm like, this is bullshit. I mean, there's no way there's going to be a cure. But at this point right now, I still somewhat think that it's bullshit, but I want to see this play out to see where it's going to go.
See, my thought on the whole subject is, why would he lie? Like, what benefit does he get?
Well, it's simple. It's very simple. He gets protection. He gets protection throughout the whole zombie land. That's what he gets.
Until he gets to Washington, D.C. and can't produce.
Isaiah said that made sense so far. But that is a good point. Until they get to Washington, D.C., what does he think about his end game? But he does always seem worried. But can I bring up a point that they have said for a fact the cure is never going to be a part of this show. It's never the reasons why, all of that will never be something that we're going to learn. Right. So,
because they dick around like what cost or something. Oh, sorry.
It's not about the destination. I think this plot is good because it provides a really awesome journey.
And plus, they're never going to tell us what happened, what started all this nonsense. Kurtman's not going to say it, and no one's not going to say it. So.
Well, that's not the point. That's not the point of the show. Is to find out what caused the zombie.
Charles, I'm saying
I have said this the whole time that this show has been around. The whole point of this show is to show how people will survive in a zombie apocalypse scenario.
Yeah,
there is no light at the end of the tunnel. There isn't one.
Charles, we already knew that. He already said it's in the comic book and to the show, so I already knew that too. So it does matter.
All right, so let's pop it into a wild speculation. Who's got a wild speculation?
Charles.
God damn it! I hate it when you assholes put me on the spot.
I didn't do it. That's Isaiah.
I know, but you're all guilty of doing it.
Like Charles think, because I'll forget mine if I listen to it.
Okay, what's yours, Mr. Grundle?
I got one based on what I just heard about the cure plot, and if Eugene is full of shit in this, which I'm going to assume he will be full of shit. I think it's without giving any spoilers from the books, I think it'll be interesting to see how they react to Eugene after all that they've been through, and after all he will put them through, because I think the journey he takes them on is a lot of people will die, and then when it finds out he's bullshit, I can see them dealing with him in a very swift and painful manner.
Can you imagine how Abraham would react?
Yeah, like Abraham, I would like tear him limb from limb. I will just say this: in the books, it doesn't go that way. They don't, and I won't say how it goes or anything.
Me either. I won't say either.
But it doesn't go that way at all. But I think the way they're leading it up, that very well could be it. And we're going to see a lot of human on human violence this season.
All right, so my wild speculation is actually pretty simple. It's they don't end up. They don't. What's that?
Just to end my thing, what that all sums up to is the Hunter thing under 3 episodes. Eugene, the Cure, going there. The ending of the whole shebang. This whole season will end with them slaughtering Eugene in anger and rage. I think Eugene is the big bad of the season.
I agree with that too. I agree.
My wild speculation is that they get too caught up in the various shit that's going on, and they don't get very far towards Washington, D.C., and they sure in the hell don't make it.
It's too damn far. They're still in the countryside area. And I have a good speculation too.
Aren't they still in the same state?
Yeah, they're still in Georgia. They're still in Georgia, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even think they're really that far away from Atlanta.
Again, Georgia and Atlanta. Seriously, Charles?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Well, I mean, Atlanta is a city in a very large state, which is Georgia. However, I don't think they're that far outside of where Atlanta is. They're probably maybe 3 to 5 miles out of Atlanta.
Atlanta's big, by the way. It's really huge.
Just so you know, the distance between Atlanta to Washington, D.C. is 638 miles.
Right. And they got no map either, so...
How long does it say it'll take to walk there? It's got that little...
by car, it would take about 11 hours.
Oh, God.
By foot, it would take 207 hours. Imagine that you're only walking 8 hours a day. That's a lot.
Yeah. And my speculation would be, like, they would actually find out early on that Eugene's full of shit. That we already knew that. But it's gonna be more. I hope it's gonna have different results as well. Like I agree with Todd, and I hope they go that route with Todd's speculations. And after that, we're gonna see more of the. We're gonna see actually bigger wars after the Hunter plot because it's nothing to us. We're gonna see bigger and badder enemies. That's gonna make the crew even more stronger as time goes on.
All right. Well, I actually do have a speculation now. Actually, it's a 2-part speculation.
Oh Lord.
Where it's basically 2 different scenarios that it could play out into. And the first scenario is that it goes on where, like, let's say that Eugene and talking about a quote-unquote cure is complete bullshit. When they go to D.C. and they find out that it is bullshit, first thing that could play out is that they're walking around and they find out that it's complete bullshit, that the cure is not real. But they don't kill him at first. However, they get overrun with walkers, and they try to escape, and they all get up on top of this thing that gets away from the walkers, and Eugene is the last one there, and one guy tries to hold out his hand to reach Eugene to help him up, and then he grabs, and they slip, and he loses his grip, and then Eugene gets jumped by the walkers, and he's screaming, asking for help, and they leave him there to die.
Can I just say that is a rather detailed wild speculation?
Very detailed.
If that actually happens, I will send you a gift card or something.
Yeah, and then the second part of my speculation, which in my personal opinion might be more likely, is that when they find out it's complete bullshit, everybody is going to be pissed with him. They're probably going to, but I think that maybe Abraham is going to possibly walk up to him and punch him in the face, and that's it. And I think that's all that's going to happen, is that he's going to punch him in the face. He's probably going to break his nose, going to do all that normal stuff, and then that's it. And he's going to be treated like shit the whole way.
Well, I agree with that. If that is true, Charles, you get a T-shirt from me. Guess what the T-shirt's going to be called?
Don't say My Little Pony, you bastard.
You're close, but not that.
Now we've got Charles insulting himself.
Exactly.
I don't know what the fuck that means, but okay.
Come on, you know what the shirt's going to be called, man. You know what the shirt's going to be called? Come on, you know what it is.
What?
You know what it is.
So, on that note, make sure
you
to
never know.
geeksoftheround.com, youtube.com/geeksoftheround. Of course, you can check out Isaiah. Isaiah's got Isaiah Zone. Let's see, anything else? I think that's it. Subscribe, like, all that other fun stuff. The more you watch it, the more you like it, subscribe it, the more people actually get to see us because we get higher in the rankings. So do that, and it helps us out. Thanks a lot. Thanks you for watching, and peace.